know, but unless you understand it and experience it and research it, you will not be able to assimilate it.
Along with his wife Janet, Stewart formed a self-help educational program called Expansions. The philosophy behind Expansions proposes that an insidious alien lineage, disguised as human beings, which they refer to as the Illuminati, has covertly enslaved the human race since its inception. The Swerdlows further claim that the Illuminati control our thoughts, partially by poisoning our food and water supply.
Nazi scientists knew that there were certain things, chemicals, that they could put in food and water and medication to dumb down the brain, damage the body, make the person weaker so that they could be more controllable. Things like fluoride, chlorine in the water, mercury and aluminum in your food. All these things, when you ingest them, basically create heavy metal toxins in your body. And after a while, you become like a walking antenna. You become almost metallic. You pick up the ELF and microwave signals and scalar waves that are transmitted from satellites and cell phone towers, etc., so that you're constantly available for programming 24/7.
The Swerdlows offer a solution for the Illuminati mind control in the form of metaphysical exercises and esoteric symbology that they claim will help build a psychic and physical resistance against the invaders. One of the many exercises consists of a series of symbolic flashcards published by the Swerdlows, where they intend the practitioner to memorize the symbols.
I feel like with religion, we've been taught to look outward for an answer, to look toward religion as providing an answer, whereas Stewart's work teaches you to look inward because that answer already exists within you or within your connection to God mind and that knowledge. They're helpful to me in many ways, different ways, and I keep them on me at all times because I've physically felt the difference between having them with me and not having them with me.
Well, for me, like, before I even came across Stewart's stuff, like, I was researching all kinds of stuff for a few years and sifting through stuff and pushing it aside and taking the bits I liked and looking for similarities. And I would always look for something that was similar, and if it matched, then I'd say, okay, well, that's probably a credible bit of information. And when I found Stewart's stuff, it just all lined up perfectly.
So today, America does remember the hundreds of men used in research without their knowledge and consent. And they were lied to by their government.
In 1995, a public hearing regarding the full disclosure of many of these experiments took place in Washington, D.C.
I'm Christy Nicola, born July of 1962, rendering me 32 years of age. I was a subject in radiation as well as mind control and drug experiments performed by a man I knew as Dr. Green. His objective was to gain control of my mind and train me to be a spy assassin. I was in what looked like a laboratory and there seemed to be other children. I was strapped down, naked, spread eagle, on a table, on my back. Whenever physically possible, I snuck into his office and found files with reports and memos addressed to CIA and military personnel.
What about acknowledging the facts? What about acknowledging the hard evidence that is there and saying, okay, well, something else is happening here. But the people that don't want to hear it, they get mad and they call you names and they, like I've seen all these interviewers do, and they storm out. They just don't want to accept it. But a lot of that stuff seems pretty obvious when you just do the work.
Well, there is so much mass programming out there that oftentimes people don't want to hear the truth. They want to stay living in whatever world that this nefarious group has created for them, and that's their choice.